Have you ever got engaged? Well, okay, that intro is probably not gonna work for these ones. But this past summer, my fiance and I got engaged. And because it's the holiday season, this is the first time I've seen a lot of my friends and family. And a lot of them are asking for a personal, how did the engagement go questions. I learned 3 things when it came to the engagement. 1, I am not romantic at all. 2, some of the best moments are unplanned. And 3, friends make everything better. So number 1, I am not romantic. Well, first of all, I am not really good at talking. Although it seems like I'm pretty smooth talking to a camera right now, I actually spent a lot of time planning. I'm not very good at talking on the spot. So when I was about to ask Jen's dad for the approval, because I was very nervous, I tried to ask a lot of different questions. I was asking him like theology questions, because he's a pastor, and her dad, because she knew the context of why we're having this conversation, decided just to cut me off and say, so what are your plans for the marriage? And then me, being even dumber, didn't really understand the question. I thought that he was asking what plan we had, so I went into things like, oh, well, we're gonna get married, but because we're still students, I made a financial plan. And then he stopped me again. He said, no, when are you going to have the wedding? So not only am I not good at talking, I'm also not very good at surprises, making me even more unromantic than usual. On the day that I decided to ask Jen for her hand in marriage, I decided to call her so I can get her parents' blessing. But I accidentally called her phone instead of her parents' phone. So when she turned on the phone and I was like, Jen? Oh, Jen, can I speak with your parents? How to make it more obvious, right? The second lesson I learned from this is that some of the best things are unplanned. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm the type of guy who likes to plan things way in advance. So I decided to take her to Scarborough Bluffs, which is a park in Toronto. We would go to a park bench and then I would read her a letter that I wrote to her, and then I would ask her for her hand in marriage. But of course, things are not always as planned. When I was reading the engagement letter, I couldn't stop crying. Good thing we didn't take a photo during the actual proposal. But I did plan for the proposal photo to be taken later on, in the case that she might cry. Turns out I was the one who cried even harder.
I'm a sensitive thug. Yeah, I'm sensitive.
So I had my tripod and my DSLR ready, but then it started raining, which was not what I planned. But one good thing that happened from there is that the park actually emptied out because nobody wants to be at a park when it's raining. So then nobody was there to judge us taking a photo of ourselves proposing to each other. So Jen and I set the tripod down under the umbrella, quickly set it up on timer, and then ran towards our pose and then proposed to each other. And the photo turned out to be pretty good, actually. So it turns out some of the best things can't be planned, and they turn out better than what we both expected. The third thing I learned is that friends make everything better. So after I proposed to her, originally I had no other plans with her except for maybe a night dinner. But luckily her sister approached me before the engagement and asked, it'd be nice to have an engagement party. And she set up this engagement party for us with some of our close friends at the restaurant. So Jen thought it was just a normal, just a dinner between us two, one of our favorite restaurants. And she was so surprised when she saw everybody there. So because I was not romantic, luckily her sister was able to make up for all that unromanticness. And it really just made the night having our friends celebrate with us. So friends, they make everything better. So thanks so much for listening to the engagement story between Jen and I. I hope you guys learned something new about us, or something for your future engagement if you are planning it. To not make the same mistakes as me, don't call her asking for her parents, you know, things like that. Don't be dumb, don't be like me.